Seattle Foundation, guided by our framework, the Blueprint for Impact, is on a path toward long-term systemic change to invest in communities most impacted by structural racism. One way we're doing this work is through REPAIR, which stands for Racially Equitable Philanthropy Aimed at Initiating Reparations. REPAIR is a large-scale, long-term effort to invest and direct necessary resources to Black-led organizations and Black-owned businesses in the greater Seattle region. Through REPAIR, Seattle Foundation is committing to drive a minimum of $25 million to the Black community over a 5-year period.
The work that Nurturing Roots does is really focused on self-sustainability, food sovereignty for folks of color, being able to replenish our souls and spirits with the energy from the earth, not taking out too much, but putting way more back into the earth and our environments than we take.
I founded West African Community Council back in 2013, and the intent was to create a resource hub primarily for the West African community. But over time, with the creation and implementation of wraparound services, we have decided to expand, broaden our reach, if you will.
At Surge Reproductive Justice, we are a community organizing and advocacy organization. And for us, what that means is truly building and shifting power with women of color and queer and trans people of color, and focusing on, also focusing on the Black community to develop our own solutions and policies to the different issues that are impacting us. And specifically looking at issues and how racism at the intersection of gender-based violence is impacting our community.
Community Passageway started out to be a felony diversion program to work with youth and young adults that are facing high-level felony charges in the criminal justice system, to have a voice in the criminal justice system for Black and brown people who have been victims of the criminal justice system due to systemic racism.
Amazing leaders within our Black-led organizations cohort, which we affectionately call the Block, have guided the REPAIR framework throughout its development and early implementation.
If we are truly using an intersectional framework, that means following the leadership of those who are directly and disproportionately impacted, but also moving resources to them as well.
They've literally put a strong focus and emphasis on the Black community and uplifting Black and brown communities and organizations. For the Seattle Foundation to be able to leverage their position, to be able to put this acronym in place, knowing that the word reparations is in that, and still be able to pull that kind of funding in, to have a specific focus on the Black community, that is a stepping stone towards reparations. Incredible.
This is needed. This is repair. This is a prejudice that the Black community has been enduring for so many years.
We allocated over $500,000 to the Black-led Joy and Wellness Fund, which supports smaller grassroots organizations with funding for rest, avoiding burnout, wellness retreats, taking care of yourself, and healing from past generational trauma.
Our community needs to feel joy. We need to feel love. We need to feel peace. We need to feel calm. We need to be able to be quiet and sit still. And often we're in a climate where we have to be fast-paced. We have to not think about our own self-care. We have to make sure it's for another generation. It's something that's ingrained in us. So I think thinking about ourselves was something that, we really wanted to create for community, but also being able to value that moment where financially, when do you get to see a grant that is all about your joy and love? So I think who better than to create that than Block?
Our jobs don't end at 5 or 6 o'clock. Our jobs don't end because it's a Saturday. We're getting calls constantly. People need help constantly. The community is in peril constantly. If you're putting your money into this fund, those people that deal with all the factors that I just talked about are the people that money is going directly to help them manage this.
In 2021, the year that REPAIR launched, we moved over $12 million to Black-led organizations serving the Black community. Most recently, we've committed $4.8 million to Black-led organizations through the Fund for Inclusive Recovery, which is designed to provide 3 to 5 years of support to nonprofits. Not only are we putting our money behind these efforts, but we're encouraging our donor-advised fund holders and philanthropic partners to support these efforts as well.
There are a lot of efforts that we are excluded from. So being able to see our value in a foundation, being able to see a foundation pour into us the way that Seattle Foundation has been has been so important for us.
We have to start centering and resourcing those who have always used an intersectional lens, who have always been the closest to these problems, and start funding those strategies and those solutions, or else we're going to continue to see strategies that are led by the folks who have the most privilege and who have the most access and who are farthest from the solutions. And so this investing in repair, investing in Black-led organizations, this is not just for Black folks, this is for everyone, because when we lift the bottom and pull from the margins, we're lifting everybody up.